Luke, amazing news! Nintendo are making a Super Mario movie!
Oh my god, you know what this means, Helen? Audition tape!
Oh no, Luigi! The princess has been captured!
Wahoo!
We must go rescue her! Where is my trusty steed?
I don't want to do it.
Come on, Andy, don't bring this for me. Come on, Yoshi! Let's go save the princess!
Show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend, show of the weekend.
Ow!
Oh, Ellen, we've suffered for our art.
I landed badly on that.
Oh no!
I just really wanted the Mario.
Nintendo, call us. But don't call us until I've finished saying everything that I have to say about the game that I've been playing.
Oh yeah,
which
and what game is that?
It's a little game called Monster Hunter
Oh, not heard
World.
of that one.
We obviously did like a quiz on Monster Hunter World when it came out, but we haven't really talked about playing it very much.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to wait a few weeks until I was really into it because
It's a deep game. I've only touched the surface level of it still. Like you're so deep into it.
I'm so
now.
in. But I'm so in, but only feel like I'm like halfway in.
Yeah.
You know, you see those diagrams of the ocean and how terrifyingly deep it is, and it's
Yeah.
like, this is how far down a
Yeah.
blue whale goes, and you're like, whoa. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm that far down, but then there's like Mariana Trench,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa.
And that's when you meet the things that are like.
Yeah. Yeah, if I keep going for much longer, I'm going to find the Blair things and James Cameron in a little submersible. The main thing that I've observed about playing it, other than the stuff that is very well documented, like that it's beautiful and incredibly complicated and
Has cats.
and has cats and has poogies. Oh man, my poogie is so
Is he still
Piggy Stardust? Yeah, still Piggy Stardust.
Named him on the stream.
Now got different outfits.
Aww.
Playing it is the video game equivalent of going to the airport, in that you cannot escape this feeling that you've forgotten something. There's like a nagging, pervasive sense of like low-level anxiety.
Have I got everything?
Like,
before you go on a mission.
yeah, and you're like, you know when you go to the airport and you're like, you know what, I've got my passport and I've got my computer and its power cable, everything else is replaceable.
Yeah.
And you're at that stage of like talking to yourself about how it's all fine.
Yeah.
It's like that. You're going out and you're like, you know what, maybe I didn't empty my item pouch, but I've got my weapon and I've got some potions and I ate something at the canteen. Everything else, you know what, if I don't harvest enough stuff here, or like, oh, if I didn't register any new bounties because I forgot to trade in these ones when I was last in the thing,
Yeah.
or all that kind of stuff. There's just so many things to remember, like dozens of like plates to spin in your head. I tend to do this thing where I'm like, oh, well, I'll start the game loading while I make a cup of tea and have my
like, oh, I'm
breakfast.
in.
And
Yeah.
and then you're in and you're like, oh, well, I'll see if I can get in an online session. Oh, I have. I'll see if I can find anyone else who wants to hunt this particular thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, there they are. Right. Oh, and we're going. Oh, well, okay. Yes. I just have to. I think I have to eat. I think I was supposed to talk to them. Oh no, I'm supposed to pick up some honey from the people. I put in all the honey to make more honey. And no time. So that's my first observation. That like there's this. It simulates the feeling of going to the airport. My big observation number 2. And there are only 2,
Alright.
is that more and more as I play it, I'm starting to wonder about the animal killing.
Well,
So
you
like,
mentioned this a little bit before.
I
to
touched
me.
upon it, but like the more I
Yeah.
play, the further in I get. It is a feeling that I cannot shake. It doesn't stop the game from being fun. It does like needle away at the at the back of my mind. So this comes down to a few things. Firstly, the animation on the monsters is incredibly good. They are, they're beautifully designed and they're
It's
not
just like the wings moving. It's that.
the way that they like jump and like roll and kind of like sometimes they move in a like kind of plodding heavy way, but then they're
Yeah.
capable of like this incredible burst of speed and stuff.
Yeah.
They move intelligently, the AI is incredible, and it looks brilliant. So, when they shriek in terror, it's like, yeah, I can tell that it's afraid.
Yeah.
Time to really start wailing on its legs.
when it limps off. Like.
That kind of thing. Yeah, and the other thing is the limping, because most of the monsters won't even attack you if you walk past them. Like you can just wander past with your sword and they're just like, la 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 la, everything is fine in my ecosystem. Once you attack, you know, like you have to concentrate in the fight and you can never really let up, and those feelings of guilt sort of go away because you are fighting something and like you're nearly dying and you've got to keep topping up your health potions and stuff, and it feels like a fight to the death. And then inevitably, with every single monster, there are points where the monster basically tries to escape, and the limping animations are just heart-rending. And that's the point at which you have to get your weapon on your shoulder and like run. And when you're playing co-op, it's like there's this like dinosaur-y thing, and it's like limping off back to its nest to try and like survive or live or whatever. And there's just like 4 of you, like, because you're doing like that sort of like T1000 run, like up on its back, and they're like, like that. So the way that you capture monsters, if you want to try capturing them, is you have to build traps, and then you have to hurt them until they are limping and unable to resist and on the brink of death, and then you pop down the trap, they fall in the trap, they're being electrocuted or they're trapped and they're like, Rah! And at that point you like stuff a load of tranq bombs in their face, you keep hitting them, and then when you see like little sleep bubbles coming out of their head, that means you've won. It is hard to shake the feeling that's bad, I guess, but you know. It's hard to get yeah, you're not hurting anything real. I don't believe there's anyone who's playing Monster Hunter and is thinking like, oh, this is great, I'd like to hunt some real animals or anything like that. You know, the game really doesn't want you to do the whole thing capturing. It wants you to do some missions where it's like, go and capture this, and some where it's like, go and hunt this. In the fiction of the game, I can't really think of any justification for you being there. So you've all rocked up on the new world or something and like established a beachhead. There's this one cutscene early on where you're like walking into Xtra, which is the hub world, and it's got these big like bone defenses or something which naturally formed, like something big has died there or something like that. And one of the NPCs who you're like strolling up with is like,
it's like nature meant for us to build a Xtra right here.
And I'm like, pretty sure it didn't. Like, pretty sure there's like, Sometimes there's a sort of a justification in the quest text, like, oh, the numbers are getting too high for the sake of the ecosystem. We have to.
So you have to
cull it. Without giving too much away, there is some stuff later in the story of the game that suggests that human intervention may be for the greater good in terms of the ecosystem.
Right.
But often it's just like, oh, we want to build a camp here, but there's a dinosaur. Kill it.
Well, if we don't take care of that pest, the camp won't last a night.
And I'm like, okay, you know. I think it's almost like an accidental side effect of the technology and the animation and the AI getting so good that suddenly you're starting to feel like, oh no, it's all getting a bit too real. You know? The simulation of doing something that would be terribly cruel is, you know, it's like, oh, this is weird. It's weird. I don't have any thoughts on it really beyond like, it's a bit weird. And stop looking at me like that. But I'd be interested to know other people playing Monster Hunter, because it seems like there are a lot of you. Is anyone else having this weird guilt twinges? Can you give me any justification that will make me not worry about it? If you are a kind of person who's really, really into like animal life and like that sort of games and like games with creatures in them, this feels like the most fun I've had it since like Pokemon Snap. It's scratching that same kind of itch. It's just like, what I would love is a Monster Hunter where like where it's like a photo taking game. It's undoubtedly a great game, but like if there's anything wrong with it, it's that it's too good. And in setting out in its aim to create these like incredible realistic animals, it's made one so cool and so beautiful that you feel bad for monster hunting them. Yeah. But from a struggle to survival against big animals with teeth to a much more mundane struggle for survival in the medieval world, we are going to talk, Ellen, about the big game of this week. Is Kingdom Come Deliverance. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a medieval RPG that throws you into the Middle Ages kingdom of Bohemia, which is a predecessor of the modern Czech Republic, and tasks you with surviving and succeeding in a brutally realistic RPG world. Ellen, I've got some real quick-fire questions for you. Ellen, which era would you like to see a brutally realistic game made about?
Tudor dynasty, and I would like it to be like in the courts, like in the royal courts.
Like a Game of Thrones simulator.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like super accurate historical, but like kind of trying to change history
Nice.
in terms of save all of Henry VIII's wives.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
So like you have to go back and change
An alternate
things.
history game where you have to like save all the wives and kill
Yeah.
Henry VIII.
Yeah.
That'd be rad.
Let Elizabeth be born because she did some interesting things in history.
Fine, sure.
But yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, Ellen,
Yeah.
is a classless RPG, which doesn't mean that it's not classy. It means that you will not actually strictly choose what class you're going to be playing, and instead you can
Mix
flexibly
and
decide,
match.
mix and match. But I want to know, from some of the specialisations that you can go for, would you rather be, in the actual Middle Ages, a warrior, a bard, or a thief?
A bard, because like they got to travel a lot.
Yeah? Lowest chance of death?
Lowest chance of having your head cut off or whatever. And yeah, thief. It's it's. I like being a thief in video games, but in real life, well, no.
Yeah. Okay, Ellen, with period accurate armour and clothing, combat, castles, and even music, this is perhaps the closest you can come to really experiencing life in the late Middle Ages. Until now. Ellen, prepare to step inside Luke's medieval survival simulation. Hold this sword.
Yay!
It is merely a prop. You will not be doing anything so cool in the simulation. Oh wait, isn't there like a medieval hat somewhere? How's that look? I'll tell you what, why don't we just put it here for set dressing. You have 8 lives.
That's not realistic.
You're gonna need them. You have... Okay, we can do you have 1 life if you want. You awake in the straw bread... You awake in the straw bed of your family's farm home on a cold spring morning. You look around at the familiar, modest surroundings of your wattle and daub crock house. Cooking implements hang on the walls. There is a chill in the air, and the morning light is visible through the door. Do you A, lie in bed for a bit, or B, spring loudly out of bed and look for your parents?
I'm gonna stay in bed for a bit.
You lie in bed for a bit before trying to move. You remember you have dysentery and die from dysentery. Lose a life.
If I had dysentery, moving would kill me quicker.
All right, you die from moving. Option B.
Not realist.
Option B. You spring loudly out of bed and call for your parents. The room is empty, which is weird because A, there's no sign of your faithful friend Piglington the pig, or B, there's no sign of your family.
B, there's no sign of family.
You've chosen B, there's no sign of your family. No. It's not weird that your family are gone. They will have been tending the crops for some hours by now. It's weird that you would think that's weird. The confusion and nausea are a symptom of dysentery, which you die from, lose a life.
I like how I'm like contracting dysentery and dying within seconds.
You're not contracting it. You've already got
Yeah,
it.
but if I already have it,
You're remembering that you have it.
choices wouldn't matter.
You're remembering you have it.
Forgetting
Who knows?
that you're ill doesn't mean that you're not ill.
Who knows? Who knows what would happen in the branching universes? Well, we do.
Can you believe this? I've got a little man on my sword and he's just like, what?
He's like, what? Hold it up to the camera. Get that reaction face.
What?
It is weird that there's no sign of Piglington, because of course at night you bring all the farm animals inside to protect from wolves and thieves, as well you know. Where is Piglington? You rush outside, fearing the worst. You find your mother outside, Piglington at her heels. She looks concerned. Verily, Ellen, she says, the crops do not take in such harsh soil and in this frosty weather, and I fear this harvest will not sustain us through the winter. Moreover, your brother has not yet returned from the church fields, which beeth not like him.
Beeth not like? Yeah.
This is all well researched and accurate. Do you say, A, worry not, mother, we shall not let a single grain, seed, hoe, or penny go to waste. Our family shall make the most of all of it, and the best of a hard year. Or B, Mum, that's freaky deaky. What are we going to do?
Going for the first one.
Going for the first
If
one.
I die, I will be so mad because I do not say freaky deaky.
Your mother looks confused. No, Ellen, she says, we can't use all of it because, as you know, a large percentage of our farm's yield is owed to the church and our money to the Lord in rent. It's not like you to forget that. Actually, you don't look well. Your mum is right. You die of a sickness that is neither named nor understood. Lose a life. 3 for 3. It's all right. You're doing good.
Am I?
Well, no. In fact, you say, this is freaky deaky, what are we going to do? Your mother nods sagely. Freaky deaky indeed, she murmurs. There's only one thing for it. You must travel far in search of your brother. Go now, for you must reach the next village before the light fails. You hurry back inside and pack for the journey. A small amount of money, a warmer cloak, and that's it. You can carry one more item, a stubby and rusted sword, or an out-of-tune old lute, owned, you're told, by a grandfather who brought it back from a military campaign that he was drafted into.
Loot.
Saddling your pack, you head for the trail that leads to the village and the church's land. There's just time to A. Gaze once more at the farm you call home. B. Hug Piglington goodbye.
Hug Piglington.
You embrace Piglington, who snuffles affectionately in your arms. One of his teeth grazes your hand, breaking the skin ever so slightly.
Damn it! I was like... As soon as I was like... I was like, right, Luke's gonna want me to choose a Piglington one at some point again. Because that's his character that he made up, and he's very proud of Piglington. And then I was like, hang on. I'll get some disease, won't I, from pigs?
One of his teeth grazes your hand, breaking the skin ever so slightly. You're pretty sure that will kill you, but you don't know why. You hit the road. You do not lose a life.
Okay.
Graze. The singing birds in the hedgerows keep you company as you walk, and the day passes cheerfully enough, despite the pangs of hunger you feel having not eaten today. Despite your best efforts, when night falls, you are still a good half-hour's walk from the village. Do you A. Press on, you're nearly there, or B. Bed down for the night at the roadside. You'll be more refreshed in the morning.
Both of those sound like bad ideas. Press on.
You press on despite an almost total lack of light. You don't know what kills you because it happens in the dark. Lose a life. In fact, Ellen, there's nothing for it. You lay your head on your cloak and do your best to sleep at the roadside.
I get murdered on the roadside, surely. I'm just out in the open. I get eaten by a wolf that was around then.
Hey, you're dealing with it. Take heart, because as you lie shivering, you hear a stranger approaching, his footsteps on the stony path betraying that they are well-heeled. A silhouette looms out of the gloom. Do you A. Spring up and smash the stranger over the head with the lute, or B. Keep quiet and hope for the best?
Keep quiet. No, I'll smash you with the loot.
I'm going to have to take your first answer, Ellen. You clamp your eyes tight and hope the stranger walks on past. However, their boot hits you in the head as they trip over your sleeping form. Prithee, traveller, alas, I did not see you there. Mayhaps I will pause on my journey here, the stranger says. Sitting down next to you, his pointed features are now visible in the dark. He speaks. Might I offer you a sup from my water flask? Or perhaps, he says with a smile and a shake of his wineskin, something stronger? Do you A, cautiously accept a drink of water, or B, cautiously accept a drink of beer?
Beer, because water would have probably killed me.
The beer is strong and bitter, and you know that drinking water is frequently lethal, though you do not understand why. Do not lose a life, and be grateful for the hydration. Yay! Medieval life was horrible. The traveller soon falls asleep with an exhausted groan. The next morning, you are awake first, and packing to leave when he comes to. He is shivering. Might I but borrow your cloak for just a minute to warm up, he asks. It will take but a moment, and I will make it worth your while. Do you A, give the stranger the cloak, or B, turn and leave for the village without a word?
And the cloak might help later.
You offer your cloak, somehow having missed the symptoms of the highly contagious sweating sickness, the scourge of your era. Your exposure to his infection kills you within hours. Lose a life. 3 lives remaining.
Oh, jeez.
You hurry away, having seen enough sweating sickness to recognise the symptoms. You stride towards the village, ignoring the traveller's spluttering coughs from behind you. At last you arrive at the village, but the entryway is empty. Where are the cards? In fact, Where is everyone? Beyond the first row of buildings, you faintly hear some kind of crowd. Do you A, run towards the noise, or B, examine a nearby notice board?
B. Examine the notice board. It's probably the plague.
You look at the board, but of course, like most people of your time, you cannot read. It's weird you would forget that. It is a symptom of the sweating sickness. Lose a life. In fact, you hurry towards the sound, Ellen.
I was trying to not get the plague.
Aren't we all? I think people in medieval times wanted the plague. As you approach, the crowd roar gets louder, and you hear what sounds like a lute and pipes, and indeed drums. This is far from the harvest festival. What's going on? Rounding the tannery, you witness a scene that takes your breath away. Dozens upon dozens of village folk are dancing in the village square, accompanied by musicians who calloo and collay a rowdy tune. The dancers appear enraptured, swinging each other around, skipping and jigging, sweat pouring off their brows. You recognise men from the group who work the church land, and there's your brother leaping and cavorting with all the rest. A man with robes of learning moves past and, seeing your confusion, offers, "When sickness looms, to caper is the way to balance the humours." He is about to continue, but he's swept up in the tide of dancing. A man with one eye looks at you urgently. "You should dance, ye should," he barks. Do you A, dance, or B, not dance?
I'll dance.
You join in with the dancers, swept up in the collective dancing mania that killed many in medieval times. You see the bodies of those who have already collapsed in among the cavorters, exhausted from days or even weeks of dancing, but for reasons that historians will never be able to explain, you all keep going. It did happen.
What?
This is for real.
What?
I'm not even joking. Dancing mania. It was a thing. Look it up. We'll pop a link in the description if we remember. But if not, just Google Dancing Mania.
Wow.
It is nuts. Lose a life.
This better be the final question.
Lose
on
your
the
brother's
screen.
life. Lose the farm. You've all fallen to the Dancing Mania. I'm sorry, Ellen. You've got one life left, so I'll let you choose the other option.
Okay.
Are you going to dance?
No.
You back away from the dancers. Darting in, you forcibly drag your brother out of the crowd and back to the farm, where you are crowned Queen of England. You win!
Oh, if only I knew it was that easy.
Yeah, there you go.
Oi, bruv, come home.
Come home.
There's a thing.
Yeah.
So real. No, so being very careful. It's weighty.
Is it?
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm going to giving you this to hold. Just put this away. Get rid of that. Oh, that was really fun. You chose all the things I wanted you to choose. Well, Ellen, I hope you've learned a little bit about the exciting life that people lived in medieval times.
The exciting short lives.
But we've also learned a little bit about the game, Kingdom Come Deliverance. It looks quite cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing if we can survive in the brutal medieval world. But for now, let's go to something much less brutal.
Ooh.
Find out what you guys have been saying in the comments. Last week we looked at some of the weirdest cameos in video games that should immediately be declared non-canon, and included a cameo of our own. Cameos give us a chance to enjoy a character, thing, or person in a place where we don't normally expect to see them. Like, what's Rob from PlayStation Access doing here? Thanks, Rob.
This guest appearance startled many of you, including Wellington Stibe, who exclaimed, "OMG, I never thought Xtra and PS Access were part of the same universe. Is it really canon?"
Yes, it is indeed.
Yeah, in fact, they even feature in some of my fan fiction. Some of my favourite stories, actually. I mean, I could
Anyway,
read some
Caitlin
out
RC
now.
noted one massive example that we missed. What about Doomguy's appearance in all the Legend of Zelda games? Yeah, Ellen, why did we leave that one out?
Because it's just your theory.
For now. For now.
Wait, what are you planning?
Oh, nothing. By the way, how much do you think is fair to pay for a grappling hook? Oh, you know what? It doesn't matter. Also this week, Andy and I looked at some of the games coming out this month. These are the February games. It's like the Hunger Games, but in February. And also bad. One game that caught many an eye was the ultra-realistic Kingdom Come Deliverance, with Mick M saying, "I hope Kingdom Come delivers."
Yeah, well, seeing as it's ultra-realistic, probably be delivering on foot or horseback, which, you know, from the area in which it's set to the UK will probably take about 3 months.
No, Ellen, that's not what they meant by deliver.
Oh no, wait, sorry, I'm being daft. I mean 4 months. Finally. On Show of the Weekend, we chatted about cult classic Shadow of the Colossus, with me describing what it was like first meeting these giants. This is so huge, it's so big, what do I do?
Yastav Padia drew an interesting conclusion. 7:33, I assume that was Ellen's reaction when she first met Luke.
Yeah, pretty much. In fact, James Chambly made an even bigger conclusion after I asked you what animal form your Colossus would most likely take. You mean Luke isn't already a Colossus? Hides sword behind back.
Hey, I'm not a Colossus. I'm not even that tall. You know what? This is ridiculous. Art time, Ellen. You ready for art time?
Yeah!
Whoosh, here comes art. Have a look at what Mad Mac did on Twitter.
Oh,
Look, it's Dob.
Look at their tiny prudence.
Oh, tiny Prudence. My favourite thing here is the tiny tears in Dob's eyes. So you can see, like, it says whale noise in the corner. That makes me think that this is just after Dob has, spoiler alert, tipped that guy into the sea.
Yeah.
Have a look at what Liv J Noodles did on Tumblr. Look, it's only Meryl when... Yeah, look at Simon. Look at that. And we've lost her. So I think the art criticism here is Simon is good. Yep. That's it. Well, Ellen, if you've quite composed yourself. No. Okay. Well,
But we're just gonna go through it.
we'll
We're
just-
gonna push through it.
for time.
For art.
For art and crucially for time, we'll just have to push on. Have a look at what Bendix, the incredible artist who did
Who
all
does
of
our
our
D&D.
D&D character artwork. Look what they did for us.
That's
For hitting
so cute.
400,000 subscribers. Look.
Oh, the party poppers.
Yeah.
Hey, is this my...
Oh, look, you're doing that face.
I didn't even do that on purpose, but...
If I try and replicate the pose as well, it's like, I'm not that fun in real life. It's like, well, thank you everyone for your incredible fan art, as usual.
Yay.
It warms our cockles and we love seeing
you.
it. Thank you very much for submitting it.
Thank you. Sorry, that Simon picture caught me off guard. I've seen it
so I
before,
see.
but something about it, like looking at it again, I was like, oh, it's really cute.
The heart just popped. Hearts do pop, especially in medieval times.
Yes.
It's the heart-popping dance mania. Or
dysentery.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's as simple as dysentery.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching. We've come to the end of Show of the Weekend. If you enjoyed this, there's loads more to watch. Why not tell your friends
You should do.
about this?
That.
Tell
You
them.
should do that.
Tell them there's a show they should be watching.
It's really good.
And
We're in
also, if you, and we are in it. And if you are subscribed already, then why not go one step further and click
Hit the bell button.
Hit the bell.
And-
It makes such a sweet noise like this. It doesn't actually make that noise, but imagine.
But
it.
imagine me making
I'll
that
tell you what.
noise.
You click it on 3, and we'll do the noise so that
Okay.
it matches up.
1, 2, 3.
And they undo. Thank you for watching, guys. Ellen, you've got something coming up. So
Yes, I'm going to be part of an event. If you are a lady who is looking to get into games media, there's going to be an evening on the 28th of February, and links in the description down below. It's going to be me and a whole load of other excellent, talented ladies talking about video games in London. It's an evening thing, so don't worry if you work during the day, you'll be able to come along, and it should be good.
Check it out if you can. It will be ace. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Right, Ellen, you look a little unwell. It's the sweating sickness. Oh dear. Whereas I've got dance mania. What's happening?